Hey y'all, I'm Lara Luna, and this is episode 5 of Trailer Park Angel. This one kicks off like most mornings. Coffee, donuts, and the usual suspects at the clubhouse. 5 of us showed up. Me, the sheriff, Savannah, Miss Butter, and the Army Ranger who is quiet as ever, but taking notes on our donut intake for reasons only he understands. Same table, same seats, same donuts we keep swearing we're gonna give up. We lie. But here's the thing, we're usually 6. 1 chair was empty, and around here, that's a code red. When someone skips donuts, it's either a medical emergency or they're off to Hazard County. I think it was Savannah who said, "Hey, anybody seen the Navy guy?" We all paused. The sheriff looked up from his coffee like we'd interrupted a crime scene. Miss Butter shook her head. The ranger just said, "Negative." "That's strange," I said. "He's usually here before any of us, parked in that corner chair with a jelly donut and a newspaper from 2004. The sheriff said he never misses coffee. The ranger nodded. Subject's absence from morning muster abnormal. The sheriff said, "When we're done here, I'll swing by and check on him." We all went back to our coffee, but it didn't taste the same after that. And just as we were finishing up, Savannah pointed toward the puzzle table and said, "What's that over there?" I shouted, "Oh, that's the puzzle table, the Bermuda Triangle for lost pieces and missing socks." That's when we noticed a clean pair of white pickleball sneakers with the laces tucked in, not a speck of dirt on them. We just stared. 2 things were wrong with that. 1, the Navy guy never takes those shoes off, and 2, nobody had seen him for days. The sheriff pushed his chair back, stood up, and said, "All right, folks, let's fire up the General Lee and go looking for the Sea Dog." We all agreed and met back at the clubhouse with subs from Publix, a 6-pack of sweet tea, a jar of pickles, because snacks matter, a bottle of Tums, just in case, and a bunch of Depends, because if we start laughing too hard, well, we'll need backup. Now, for those who don't know who Miss Butter is, she's the only person in the park with an emotional support bird, and not just any bird. A full-grown giant wild turkey that flies in every morning and follows her everywhere like a bodyguard with feathers. She's the one in the park who feeds everything she's not supposed to. Cracked corn to the sandhill cranes, peanuts to the squirrels, raw fish to the river otters. She hand feeds a gopher tortoise, and the deer, they follow her golf cart like she's Snow White. That's exactly why the sheriff wanted her along. If it's outside and breathing, she'll see it before we do. When Savannah realized the Army Ranger was coming along for the ride, she decided to join the team, happy as a pig in a puddle. She ran home, slapped on her Daisy Dukes, which at her age looked more like a denim belt, and came strutting back to the clubhouse like it was Miss Senior Citrus County Day. The sheriff pulled up in his pride and joy, the General Lee of golf carts, bright orange, horns set to play, just a good old folks, and a cooler in the back stuffed with flashlights, batteries, and a suspicious amount of Vienna sausages. The ranger climbed onto the roof like he was born there. Mission loadout complete. All stations, move out. Savannah leaned over to me and whispered, "Well, we've got the General Lee, but where's Bo and Luke?" I said if Bo and Luke came by, I'd bake 'em a pie, marry 'em both, and race 'em to the county line. The sheriff grinned. "Right here, darling, just call me Boss Hog." We pulled out of the clubhouse armed with 100 flashlights, reading glasses, a tube of arthritis cream, and enough snacks to keep us going. 'Cause this secret mission might go past our bedtime, which is usually around 8 p.m. As we turned down one of the side streets, we spotted Miss Butter's turkey in someone's yard, pecking at something shiny. Miss Butter squinted. "Stop the General Lee." The sheriff hit the brakes. The cart jerked. Miss Butter fell out and tumbled, and all the donuts she smuggled in her bra went flying like confetti. I hollered, "Good Lord, Butter, this looks like a sweet tooth crime scene." She shook it off, fluffed herself back together, and marched right up to that bird like it owed her money. "Drop it," she snapped, hands on hips. The turkey gave her a full-on side-eye, clucked once, and spit out an old sock. Miss Butter bent down, pinched it between two fingers like it was radioactive, and pulled out a small metal box. We all gathered around as she popped it open. Inside, a black and white photo of the Navy guy in uniform, one of his Navy challenge coins, and a little note that said, "Check the mermaid statue." The sheriff looked up and grinned. "Well, looks like Roscoe P. Coltrane just got his first lead." Now for your information, our park is loaded with mermaid statues of all kinds. People got them in their gardens, on their porches, stuck in fountains, like it's some sort of HOA requirement. First stop was the Navy guy's new girlfriend, the one with the organized Tupperware and a freezer full of casseroles already made for future potlucks, of course. We knocked, but there was a note taped to the lanai that said, "Out with the girls' golf league, back after wine." The Army Ranger squinted at it and said, "Target has vacated. Possible diversion. Proceed with caution." Second stop was Mr. Earl's, because he has an infamous naked mermaid smoking a cigar on his front lawn. The sheriff pulled right up, like we were all private detectives. Savannah bent down, peeking under her tail. "Looks like she's hiding something." Turned out it was just a sticky moon pie. Mr. Earl had been hiding snacks from his wife again. The man wandered out in a robe and swore it wasn't his. His wife came out, saw the moon pie, and whacked him with a flip-flop. Said if he lies again, she's moving back to her sister's and taking the dog and the TV. Back in the cart, we cruised past another porch with one of those signs. "A salty old dog lives here with his beautiful mermaid." A painted pirate was winking at us from the corner. "Think that's a clue?" Savannah asked. "Negative," said the ranger. "Probable decoy. Maintain course." "Spoken like Cooter in the repair shop," the sheriff muttered. Then we pulled up to the oldest mermaid in the park. She was worn smooth by 40 years of hurricanes. The ranger checked her out. "Negative contact. Target degraded beyond recognition." We were all about to call it quits when I shouted, "Hey, y'all, let's go to Miss Esmeralda's place." Everyone turned. "You mean the mermaid flipping the bird?" Savannah asked. "Yes, that's the one." We pulled in her driveway, and sure enough, there she was, middle finger pointed straight at the heavens, looking like she was cussing out the HOA. The ranger crouched low and pointed. Contraband, tail section. He reached in and pulled out a rolled-up piece of paper, handed it to Miss Butter. She unrolled it and read, "Ask the man on the dock." Huh. The only dock we knew the Navy guy went to was the one at the waterfront grill, where the pelicans sit on pilings waiting for fish and a happy hour. At the end of the dock, we spotted a veteran with a Navy hat, hunched over a tackle box. The sheriff stepped up. "You seen the Navy guy?" "Sure did," he said. "Saw him yesterday. Left on a skiff. Was supposed to be back by 4. We all looked at each other. "Copy," the ranger muttered. "Timeline discrepancy." Savannah pointed toward the kayak rack. Y'all, One's missing, and it says Navy guy on the rack. The sheriff scratched his chin. Well, ain't that a boss hog twist? On the way back to the park, we slowed down by the gnome yard. You know the one, with the garden gnome that gets dressed up for every holiday. Miss Butter leaned in. Look at his shirt. Someone had painted 111 across the front, and as luck would have it, under his boots was a photo of the Navy guy holding a giant tarpon sealed in plastic like a prize from the fair. The sheriff picked it up, studied it, and said, "We're on him." Next stop, the community pool. We all jumped out of the General Lee. The pool deck was empty. No towels, no sandals, and not a single noodle. Just the sound of the pump running and the faint smell of expired coconut lotion and yesterday's margaritas. We all scanned the scene from the fence like a bunch of looky-loos on a true crime show. The ranger crouched down near the gate. "Contact, visual," he said, metallic deck perimeter. The sheriff knelt beside him. "Challenge coins, 3 of them, scattered right by the gate. One of them was from Key West, the one the Navy guy always carried. He said it brought him luck. Well, not today." I shook my head. He wouldn't drop those on purpose. We all looked at each other like someone just opened the last tin of homemade fudge at bingo night, then kept on rolling like nothing happened. As we were heading back toward the clubhouse, cruising past the shuffleboard court in the General Lee, Savannah suddenly yelled, "Stop!" The sheriff hit the brakes so hard, Miss Butter almost hit the windshield. Right there in the middle of the sand, another pair of white pickleball sneakers, the same kind the Navy guy wore, sitting there all neat, like they were waiting for Waylon Jennings to start singing. We all just stared. Nobody said a word. Even the ranger didn't have a code for this. The sheriff leaned forward, squinting. "Well, I'll be. Those are the Navy guys. Looks like he vanished mid-pickleball." He looked around at all of us, still sitting in the cart. Uncle Jesse's probably off yelling at his weed whacker. Savannah's dressed like Daisy Duke on a rescue mission. And if we were in Hazard, Cooter'd probably be under the General Lee with one hand on a wrench and the other holding a chili dog. Savannah gave a little leg pop like she'd just won Miss July in a barbecue calendar. The sheriff gave a slow, serious nod. "This ain't just a neighbor gone missing. This is one of them shaking things up like a bunch of old Robin Hoods kind of situation." Savannah pulled out her phone and tapped play. That familiar twang of the Dukes of Hazzard theme came through the speaker like a closing credit moment on a summer rerun. The sheriff tipped his hat toward the empty sneakers. "Well, folks, that's where the trail ends, for now." He shifted the General Lee into gear and rolled off slow, tires crunching, like we were leaving the set of a low-budget crime show on the Hallmark Channel. So, the cliffhanger's hanging. The truth is still hiding. And episode 6 rolls in on Tuesday, faster than Savannah's Daisy Dukes disappearing in a gust of wind. And that's where we're leaving you, because this is a 2-parter. So stay tuned, because we're gonna find out what happened to that old sea dog, discover the meaning of the angel number on the gnome, and hopefully see if Miss Butter would be willing to give us that turkey for Thanksgiving. Hey, thanks for listening, and thanks for your time. Let's remember all the great things our veterans have done for us and our police officers, because without them, who knows where we would all be now. We salute y'all and send you our love. Hope to see y'all real soon. And remember to hit subscribe and the bell if you want to be reminded of another low-budget podcast with Holy Angel energy. Bye!